Alright, ladies and gentlemen, how are you guys doing on this Thursday, March 3rd, 2022? Thank you for joining me here tonight for another Metallica episode of Music of Destruction. Bringing you the very best in metal-related content right here on YouTube on the only metal channel you need. If you missed anything in the past week, click the eye in the upper right corner of the screen. I took 2 weeks off, but everything you need to get caught up from that period is up there right now. If you want me to review anything, make suggestions in the comment section. No slam, deathcore, or modern tech death. It's fucking garbage. Remember, subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss anything. You're looking at one of the hardest working metal channels in the niche of metal on YouTube, and no one's going to give it to you. It's brutally honest, upfront, controversial, opinionated, and unfiltered as myself. If you like that, this is the channel for you. If you don't, click the X and fuck right off. Welcome to Top 15 Thursdays here on the channel once again, and tonight I'm really excited for another special episode in this series that I'm sure many of you are going to love, and I'll be doing a lot of these videos from every Thursday for all the years I've been into metal for sure. And you know what? Tonight I'm doing my top 15 metal albums from 1988, and this was another incredible year for metal in all types of genres. You know, you had a lot of the earliest incantations of death and black metal coming out at this time, but thrash metal was already pretty firmly established, along with a lot of hardcore punk crossover thrash, which did make some albums in this list as well. And you had some new wave of British heavy metal bands still putting out albums as well, which is always a fucking treat, because those guys, I mean, come on, it's the new wave of British heavy metal. It's amazing stuff. Alright, so let's just get into it, shall we? Coming in at number 15, Metallica-And Justice For All, released in 1988 on Elektra Records, American thrash with prog elements. And this was also an album to me that I really do love, but I'm really pissed off that they omitted Jason Newsted's fucking bass from this album. Now, they did remaster it and put his bass firmly intact on there. Actually, he re-recorded it and did that, but it's still a great album. It would be Metallica's last good album in my opinion. Death Magnetic and Hardwired to Self-Destruct are decent. I hated Metallica when they went to the Black Album and beyond with all that stupid garbage hard rock whiskey in the fucking jar crap. That's not Metallica to me. Metallica's best album is always going to be Kill 'Em All, but I think And Justice For All is a really good record. It makes number 15 on my list. Coming in at number 14, we have Anthrax-State of Euphoria, released in 1988 on Megaforce Records, American thrash metal legends. Once again, one of the big four in America. This was a really powerful album for me. I have so many fond memories of this record. One of the best guitar solos of all time from Ian on this record. Just absolutely mind-blowing stuff here from Anthrax. A lot of political overtones and a lot of depth to this album in terms of aggression and rage and lyricism and overall compositional song structuring and writing. One of their best records, number 14, Anthrax-State of Euphoria. Coming in at number 13, Nuclear Assault with Survive, released in 1988 on IRS Records. More American thrash making the list here once again. Nuclear Assault is one of those bands that I think never had a bad release. This is a band that knew what they were going for from the very beginning and always had a firm foothold in what they were trying to bring forth with their artistic expression and why they were creating extreme metal. This is an album that'll give you a foray into darker tonalities. This is darker thrash in my opinion because of its lyrical themes, overall song structuring, and the guitar tone on here quite dark and atmospheric in places. I'd say this even approaches black metal in subtle ways, and I feel like it's a very strong release from Nuclear Assault. Survive gets number 13. Coming in at number 12, German thrash metal legends Assassin with Interstellar Experience, released in 1988 on Steamhammer Records. A band that I feel doesn't get talked about enough is Assassin. These guys are up there with Crater and Sodom and Destruction in my opinion. A lot of people will put Tankard in there. Tankard was more of a party band. Assassin were very serious about what they were expressing and their points of view and overall reason for creating metal in the first place. This is a very powerful release for me. It's very atmospheric for me. It takes me away to different planes. It just moves me constantly inside, and it's got some amazing songwriting, composition, lyricism, production, very organic sounding album, and Assassin is just such a fucking great band. Number 12, Interstellar Experience from Assassin. Coming in at number 11, Anna Crucis with Suffering Hour, released in 1988 on Axis Records. Another American thrash metal band making the list here. And this is a band that didn't get much attention, at least not from what I can see in the metal underground. A very strong release here from Anthrax. Unfortunately, with subsequent albums, they kind of fell by the wayside a bit. They kind of went into a different path, but this is a solid thrash metal release that I think a lot of people overlooked in favor of other bands that were putting out material at the time that might have gotten more attention. But Anthrax is an underground gem that you guys are definitely going to want to take a look at. This is a good album. There's some great songwriting, really awesome originality on this. Like, it doesn't sound like typical American thrash. They threw in a lot of unique stuff on this album, especially in the production department and the vocal delivery. This is just an incredible, powerful record. Anthrax, Suffering Hour gets number 11. Coming in at number 10, Sadus, Illusions, released in 1988 on Sadus Records. Death thrash metal from America once again. One of the earliest incantations of death metal, making its debut here. This is their debut album. And along with Possessed and NWOBHM and bands like that, Sadus never got the recognition they deserved for helping to pioneer the death metal genre along with Death, Morbid Angel, Autopsy, Possessed, and NWOBHM. And I think Sadus were one of the bands in that forefront, and they were one of the front runners of the early death metal scene. This is an absolute must-own for any fan of old school death thrash. You will not regret it. I have to get this album. I absolutely love Sadus. If you know this band, you know what to expect from their debut. This was one of their most thunderous performances on this record, with a lot of powerful lyricism and emotional nuances and peaks and valleys, especially in the guitar work, drums and bass and vocals. Great album. Number 10, Sadus, Illusions. Coming in at number 9, we have Forbidden with Forbidden Evil, released in 1988 on Combat Records. More American thrash metal. Another band that I think deserves a lot more recognition here is Forbidden. That's why they made this list. I have a buddy who's very into Forbidden, and he actually introduced me to these guys about 10 years ago, and I fell in love with them immediately. This is one of their best releases. It's powerful, it's aggressive, it's organic, it's raw, it's just so visceral and fast and aggressive. We all know German thrash is a lot more dark, but this has its dark tendencies as well. And there's a lot of powerful, triumphant songwriting in here and very upbeat guitar structuring and work. Just an amazing record here from Forbidden. Forbidden Evil gets number 9. Coming in at number 8, Atrophy with Socialized Hate, released in 1988 on Roadrunner Records. American crossover thrash metal. I love the American crossover scene because it brought so many new elements to thrash metal, where with the West Coast thrash, it was more of it had more of a heavy metal influence, you know, because of heavy metal topics and stuff. But with the crossover stuff, you had the East Coast coming in, and this is amazing stuff. This really reminds me of strong American crossover like DRI and Suicidal Tendencies. Atrophy definitely need to get more recognition, especially with Socialized Hate. This was one of the most interesting releases I had heard at the time. It was a tape that I had and spun or played over and over again. I wish I still had this tape. Atrophy is a very unique band with a lot to say, a very powerful message, and their songwriting and originality is just off the fucking charts. If you know Atrophy or you don't know Atrophy, you're going to want to get Socialized Hate, released in 1988 on Roadrunner Records. Gets my spot at number 8. Coming in at number 7, Suicidal Tendencies, How Will I Laugh Tomorrow, released in 1988 on Epic Records. More American crossover thrash making this list. It's Suicidal Tendencies. I've seen them live 6 times throughout my life. They are always a great band to see live, and they've had one of the most powerful messages in political metal for the longest time, and they've never sold out. They've never changed their formula. These are guys who understand what it's like to grow up in the hardcore streets of Los Angeles, and they just know what they're doing with their music. They know what they want to talk about, and they do it with so much strong emphasis on the lyrical content, but the music too is just got its own identity, and you always know when somebody puts on a Suicidal Tendencies record. These guys are legends. There's no way they couldn't make this list. How Will I Laugh Tomorrow from Suicidal Tendencies gets number 7. Coming in at number 6, Omen, Escape to Nowhere, released in 1988 on Metal Blade Records. We have American power metal here once again making this list. We got some great power metal with Omen. I know a lot of people may not really recognize this band too much, but I do because I really love this release. This is a great album. It has so many fantasy-driven elements, but it's extremely heavy in places and very epic and atmospheric. It's just an awesome album. Number 6, Omen, Escape to Nowhere gets that spot. Coming in at number 5, Ministry, The Land of Rape and Honey, released in 1988 on Sire Records, American industrial metal. Al Jurgensen, an absolute legend. Now, Ministry had some hit or miss albums because they did have a lot of new wave electronic stuff mixing with these records, but this is a straight up industrial metal album, and I love it to death. Ministry is one of my favorite bands, especially in this era, and I feel like this is an overlooked album. I wanted to bring it some attention. It's a very powerful, profound statement. Great songwriting on here, composition, and execution and production, lyrics, all that great stuff. Number 5, Ministry's The Land of Rape and Honey. Coming in at number 4, Bolt Thrower, In Battle There Is No Law, released in 1988 on Vinyl Solutions Records, UK death metal. Legendary band, Bolt Thrower. I mean, how can you go wrong putting this band in your collection? I need to get some Bolt Thrower. This is fast, aggressive, sonic, intense, brutal, emotionally compelling stuff. Well written, well produced, not well produced as in clean, but very garage-like, organic, dirty death metal, and I absolutely love Bolt Thrower. This is an awesome album. In Battle There Is No Law gets number 4. Coming in at number 3, American death metal legends, Death with Leprosy. Released in 1988 on Combat Records, American death metal. One of the most iconic death metal albums of all fucking time. It's Chuck Schuldiner and Company. This is their best album to me, or one of their best albums, and this album from start to finish is just a face-melting, aggressive mess of brutality, emotional conviction, compelling guitar work, drums, bass, vocals from Chuck. Just legendary. I absolutely love Death, and Leprosy is an album you want to get. If you don't have it, how can you call yourself a death metal fan? I'm in the process of getting it. I did have it at one point. I ended up getting it damaged in moves that I've done over the years. It's very, very upsetting. I had the fucking vinyl, and the vinyl got broken. It sucks. Number 3, Death's Leprosy. Coming in at number 2, Doom Metal Legends, Saint Vitus with Mournful Cries, released in 1988 on SST Records, American Doom Metal Masters, right up there with Pentagram and bands like Black Sabbath and stuff like that, Candlemass. Saint Vitus are more along the lines of dark psychedelic doom, kind of like the pioneers of stoner doom, but they did have some more abysmal topics. But Mournful Cries is such a triumphantly dark record, and it's got some of the best songwriting for a doom metal album, especially for 1988. That's what's playing in the background on the video and the audio. This is an amazing fucking band, and they're legends, you guys. Saint Vitus could not be overlooked on this list. You guys need to get some Saint Vitus. Number 2, Mournful Cries. Coming in at number 1, Bathory, Blood, Fire, Death, released in 1988 on Under One Flag Records. Swedish black metal legends, Quorthon, you guys. It's Quorthon. It's Blood, Fire, Death. This was kind of the band's bridge from black metal into Viking black metal, more into Viking metal on Hammerheart. This still had a lot of those dark black metal elements. It is a black metal album with some Viking theology, Viking themes, and epic goddamn tracks, man. Like, this album from Bathory, just off the damn charts, you guys. I mean, it is one of the most iconic fucking black metal albums of all time. I need to get this one. This will be my next purchase. It's fucking Bathory's Blood, Fire, Death. It had to get number 1. There was no other band that was going to go in the number 1 spot. Being that I am a black metal freak, what the fuck did you expect? Alright, so there you guys have it. Another top 15 in the books here on Music of Destruction. Hope you enjoyed the premiere. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. Select that bell for all notifications. Turn those on. teespring.com/music-of-destruction for merchandise. Make sure go check that out. Also, I have a bonfire store, bonfire.com/store/music-of-destruction. Check out all the merch on those 2 pages. Making some more, as always. Patreon.com/music-of-destruction for the Seed podcast. The History of Cryptopsy is up there right now. Gotta come up with some ideas for the Seed episode 36, but it will be out in due time. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video. We'll see you for Metal Album Warfare Fridays. Cheers and stay fucking metal.